Today, there are far fewer women working in technology than men, but history is full of female success stories in the field. The world's first ever computer programmer was Ada Lovelace, known and celebrated as a mathematician and writer. In the late 1830s, she teamed up with inventor Charles Babbage and worked on his design for what would have been the world's first computer, known as the analytical engine. Lovelace recognised that the machine could perform functions more complex than pure calculations and published the first algorithm that could be carried out by such a device. Skip forward to the Second World War, around a century later, and an elite team of codebreakers, many of them female, cracked the Axis encryption used to obfuscate critical military communications. Working at Bletchley Park, the team were able to give Winston Churchill essential intelligence on Germany's war plans. Around the same time, women at the University of Pennsylvania's Moore School of Engineering helped to set up the Electronic Numerical Integrator and Computer, or ENIAC for short. This is widely cited as the world's first computer, coming a century after Babbage's initial designs, albeit for a very different machine. The ENIAC was largely used to calculate artillery firing tables and could do in 30 seconds what would take a human around 20 hours. 8 years after the war ended, in 1953, mathematician Katherine Johnson joined the National Advisory Committee for Aeronautics, which was to become NASA just 5 years later. Becoming known as a computer herself thanks to her genius for complex calculations, Johnson asserted herself in a predominantly male environment, and in 1961 calculated the launch window for the Mercury mission, which made Alan Shepard the first American in space. She was also involved in calculating the trajectory for the 1969 Apollo 11 moon landing. In 1958, Mary Kenneth Keller, a nun, began working at the National Science Foundation workshop in the Computer Science Center at Dartmouth College, previously a male-only institution, where she helped to develop the basic programming language which would later be brought to the masses via the ZX Spectrum in the 1980s. She also became the first woman to earn a PhD in computer science in the US in 1965. In 1959, US Navy Rear Admiral and computer scientist Grace Hopper invented one of the first tools for compiling software. She was one of the first programmers of the Harvard Mark I computer and popularized the concept of programming languages which are independent of specific machines. This led to the development of COBOL, which also leads us to Jean E. Sammet. In 1962, Jean E. Sammet developed the FOMAC programming language. She was also one of the developers on the seminal COBOL language, which is still in use in many legacy applications, including large-scale batch and transaction processing workloads. There have been many other women who have made huge contributions to the development and use of technology, and there will be many more to come. Initiatives to encourage more women to study STEM subjects and to view technology as a viable career will only serve to help organisations, governments, and society as a whole.